Oh, yay, I got it. So, one of the things that I'd like to talk to you today about is the way that ELL teachers distinguish between BICS and KELPS language for their students. I'm going to try and get up my screen share here and show you. We have something called BICS, which means Basic Information Skills, which an ELL kid would use to get around their everyday lives. You can kind of look at ELL students' language development like an iceberg. The tip of the iceberg would be your BICS, which is the top here. And again, that's your everyday language, your conversational skills, social skills, fluency in this area takes anywhere from 1 to 3 years. The next area of language that an ELL student develops is their CALP, and that's their cognitive academic language proficiency. This is the language that a student needs to maneuver in the classroom. This is how they take their tests. This is where they learn the discourse of different courses. It makes the difference between geography and science. So those language avenues are much more difficult for an ELL student. As you could tell by our poster here, I'll go back to it. CALPS is where a giant part of the ELL learner spends their time. This can take anywhere from 2 to 5, even 11 years to develop. And that's what happens in our classrooms with our students when you will say, oh boy, this student is really, really great at communicating. I don't understand why they're not getting this concept. That would simply be because their CALPS is not as developed as their BICS. So, there's a little bit of a quiz here. Let's just talk about, perhaps we say, if I were to give you something like eating in the lunchroom with their friends, would that fall under the category here of BICS or CALP? Great. If you chose BICS, you were right. It's the kind of language they need to converse with their friends, to ask for lunch, to pay the lunch person, that kind of stuff. How about if I were to give you another example, perhaps maybe voting? Great. Voting would fall under the arena of CALP because they need to know the discourse of what it takes to actually vote. They would know the candidate, they would understand what the candidate stood for, and that language has a completely different discourse than something like BICS. So there you go. Today's little lesson difference between BICS and CALPS for your ELL students. Hope you enjoyed that distinguishing webinar.